Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of HAAS, Phillips India, and AMT, I would like to welcome each one of you to our webinar on work holding solutions for better productivity. In today's webinar, we would start with a short video which shows an association of HAAS and AMT, followed by the AMT presentation on the work holding solutions. And through the entire duration of the webinar, you can feel free to raise any questions that you have inside the Q&A box, or you can put in your questions in the chat section, and our experts will be glad to answer you. We will also have a short Q&A round towards the end of the presentation where you can raise your hand and we would unmute you so that you can even ask your questions verbally. So without taking much time, I would start with the video.
I started my manufacturing unit in 1986 as a job shop, and it was a conventional machine shop, and gradually we migrated to CNC shop. When I bought first machine, we have given HAAS a turnkey job. Yes, this is the component and I want you to prove the component. And at that stage, the cycle time reduction was more than 60-70%. So the technical backup from HAAS team also is very good in setting the parameters, in setting the tooling and all other parameters. In last 5-6 years now I have 5 machines from HAAS, all VF2. I also have a turn mill center from HAAS giving excellent results, and we are able to achieve very good accuracies for making my drilling machine spindles and parts on turn mill center. Now I have machines with 12,000 RPM that gives a lot of improvement in productivity, the tool life and many other things. So that helps a lot. So the productivity, I will generally say I could achieve more than 30-40% improvement in productivity.
Basically, we are a company wherein we have two major verticals, wherein one is dedicated to component manufacturing for switchgear industry, and the other one is wherein I have our own manufactured products. So right now we are in the development department of a company. So as you can see that we manufacture this kind of clamping columns with vices for HMCs and BMCs. It is very important for us that we have a strong backup from technical front as well as from the development front, wherein we find the advantage of working with HAAS to the fullest, because they have a local support system for us. They can supply us with the necessary information regarding the machine to use, so that we can use the most of features whenever required. They have multiple plugins which we can plug and play with their own machines, like Spindle cooling, advanced tool management system. So we can use them for high-speed milling also and for very specific jobs. So it is a one-stop solution when we say. So we don't have to look for some other machine for normal production. We don't have to look for some other machine for development kind of work. So one machine can give you all this flexibility of working with either your production components or development components.
The HAAS controller is very user-friendly and can be easily interfaced to any external accessories as per our requirement. Now the feature point of view, HAAS is equipped with all advanced features like tool life monitoring, easy tool offsets and many more.
I was lucky to visit HAAS factory in USA, and that built my confidence to going for HAAS machines with a fully loaded features. So we have probing, we have 4th axis, we have coolant through spindle and so on, and I'm very proud to say, happy to say that we are able to achieve desired accuracies. Next year we also will buy few more machines, and definitely it will be HAAS machines. I'm very happy with their services and also the machines, which is more important.
I would like to thank everyone for watching this video, and I would request Mr. Deepak to carry forward from here.
Yes. Thank you, Nikhil ji. Thank you for that short introduction about what Ahire Machine Tool is and what Ahire Machine Tools and HAAS together can do for the customer. Thank you very much. I would like to start this session by thanking the entire Phillips team, especially Mr. Nikhil Modi, for giving us this platform that we can share today with all of you and present to you the work holding techniques that have improved since the past couple of years and how it can prove an important feature for productivity improvement in your factory. On this note, I would like to start my screen sharing. I think my screen is visible, yes. Yes, an opening note actually. Not long ago, the mention of the work holding might call to the mind the traditional vice or the three-jaw chuck. Now, with the rise of new manufacturing demands, the integral nature of proper work holding has forever changed the paradigm and made work holding as critical to the manufacturing process as any of the machines or tools. Work holding strategies continue to evolve in response to more complex parts, improved machining capabilities, and emerging needs of a modular work holding system. The increasing demands for components machined from conventional hard materials, including titanium for aerospace, stainless steel for medical, and customized alloys for general engineering, means more aggressive machinings through higher speeds and feeds. This is supported to you by the use of HAAS machines. As you saw in the video, AMT relies heavily on HAAS machines for our manufacturing needs. With this point, Phillips Machine Tools, which is the world's largest HAAS factory outlet, combine the convenience and security of a local distributor with the strengths of an international organization. An efficient manufacturing process requires good machine selection, proper cutting tools, and most importantly, the right work holding. The first two areas typically receive a substantial consideration, but the work holding part is often overlooked. And that's why we are here gathered today to increase your manufacturing process stability, efficiency, and safety. So with this, I'll start my presentation. A brief point about what Allmatic is. So Allmatic are our German principals based in Germany, and Allmatic has been manufacturing clamping systems since 4 decades. Allmatic has been building machine vices since 1973, and they can offer highly differentiated and modular solutions for your entire range of applications. From the simple high pressure vice to the complex clamping solutions, Allmatic can offer you all your work holding solutions and specifically the guarantee for 20 years of spare part service after the supply. Now this gives a very good security to your investment. As the inventors of the grip technology, Allmatic set the course of clamping unmachined parts in the year of 2005. And since then, form-fitting clamping has enabled us to increase your MRR and working speed. The universal applications allow the large number of work steps, which increase your profitability and production many times over. Coming to the next slide. Now, right through the presentation, you will many a times hear the word AMT Allmatic. And why AMT Allmatic and why not just Allmatic is the slide is in front of you. I'll just explain in a few simple words that. Ahire Machine Tools was incorporated. Ahire Machine Tools, read as AMT Group, that is us, was incorporated in 1982. And it started as a marketing firm, but it is now becoming a steady house for manufacturing components with German collaborations. Thanks to the modular structure of AMT Allmatic clamping systems, the performance can be adopted to your current requirements with an appropriate assemblies. This modularity that you are getting now, together with the extraordinary quality of Indian manufacturing, which is under license, makes AMT Allmatic clamping systems a safe and an economical investment. And that is what we guarantee, a safe and an economical investment. AMT Allmatic Vices are extremely durable and low maintenance, and the same is achieved through an encapsulated spindle, which is and a stable base body. Now, as I told you, AMT has a successful manufacturing association with our German partner, that is Allmatic, and now it is branded as AMT Allmatic, and it all goes through AMT Allmatic. Now, what this gives you, you may ask what this gives me an advantage. This gives me an advantage of indigenization, and with indigenizations come cost effectiveness. So you are getting basically the same vice which you are importing from Germany, but at an Indian price. So our motto is to give a German product, but with an Indian price. Moving on with the presentation, these are some of our German associations that AMT is in association with. We started our association with Bills, I think so past 2022 or years back, and it is a feather in our cap, I can officially say that. Today's agenda will be for Allmatic. Maxion is another drilling and tapping machines which is famous in all Europe. Albrecht, you probably might know Albrecht as the inventors of the keyless precision drill chucks. And AMF, that is the 0-point clamping systems. That is the 0-point clamping systems. These are some of the product images of what we can give for the AMT Allmatic range as well as AMT range. Coming to the basic agenda that we have today is that these are all the vices that in front of your screen. These are all the vices that we manufacture here and trade as well for Allmatic. So starting from the left top, this is the basic vice that we can give. This is off-the-shelf stuff that we have. This is standard vices. Then comes the high-pressure model LC and Titan, which can have the unconventional clamping of gripper clamp components, as I said in my previous slide. Then comes the vices for 4th axis and 5th axis Trunian tables. And then comes the purely 5th axis vices. And of course, the HMC solutions also. So right from the humble 3-axis VMC to the 4th axis rotary tables and trunnions to HMC and the highly advanced 5-axis UMC machines that HAAS can offer, we have clamping solutions, or I can say work holding solutions that range the entire portfolio of HAAS. This presentation, I'll make more of not a technical presentation, but more of an interesting presentation where I will share with you some examples and what the examples of a vices are and what it can do. Rather than giving you just technical information, it might sometimes get boring. So I'll just skip through the technical part a bit faster, and what I can do is I can focus more on the application part. So this is our basic milling vice. That is, it comes in 2 models, that is 125 and 160 respectively. And it has a clamping range of 208 to 283 mm with 125 as 125 width and 160 as 160 width of the vice. There are 2 features that distinguish this AMT Allmatic vice than any other vice in the market. First is that it is an all steel body, alloy steel body vice, which is case hardened up to 62 HRC with a case hardening depth of 1.2 mm. The second advantage that I can give you with these vices is that the pre-selection of the clamping range. Gone are the days where you have one spindle screw and you have to unclamp the vice from 0 position to its maximum position. Now with the easy pre-selection of the clamping range, within seconds you can put your clamping ranges from 0 to the maximum. And the second advantage that we give, that these are the integrated scrapers, the blue color scrapers that you can see right in front of the screen in the photo, are the integrated scrapers that we have put inside the movable jaw of the vice. What this gives you is this gives you a trouble-free usage from the chips and the coolant or the burr which is generated in casting, entering into the sliding pathways and scraping off the material or the main body of the vice. So what it guarantees is it guarantees you a low maintenance and an extended service life. That it guarantees, definitely. Now these are the standard vices that are available with us, but what makes them special is the accessories that come with it. In front of your screen you can see 6 types of different accessories that come with it, and it can drastically improve your productivity as well as flexibility of your work holding system. So as you can see, I'll start from the first, that is click parallels. So these click parallels, what they do is that the quick change jaws. You don't have to bolt these jaws every time you have to take off and put it on. These have simple click mechanisms where you can just click it within seconds and raise the height of your workpiece almost 35 from the base of the vise, depending upon the model. And what this gives you, if you have some pocket milling operations or through drilling operations, it gives your tool the advantage of not hitting the body of the vise, or as well as they serve as parallel blocks. No need to additionally make some parallel blocks, put it on your vise and then align your component and then start. So this is how we can save time. The next are the step serrated jaws. These serrated jaws we give as an accessory. Why? Because sometimes people have raw components, or you say unmachined components. Rather than I saying raw components, I'll say unmachined components. And the jaws of these vices are ground to perfection, and that is why it may not be sufficient to hold that unmachined parts. So for that simple application, we give serrated jaws. These improve the friction between the job and the jaw, and that is why you can get much more power, clamping power, as I can say, for your machining in the transverse direction as well as of the clamping direction. Third, we come back to the prismatic jaws, and this is a very unique jaw that we have manufactured. Is it can hold your cylindrical components both in a vertical direction as well as in a horizontal direction. Most of the time what happens is, if there are some circular jobs for some pocket milling or some keyway milling operations or some slotting operations, normally that it is a headache for the operators to put these blocks or put these cylindrical blocks on the V block and then strap clamp it and then machine it with hindrance. So no need of doing all that. Just buy a prismatic jaw from us. It can hold your components, as you can see in the photo, both vertically as well as horizontally. Then comes the soft jaws. Now soft jaws and this intermediate jaw, which is right in the right hand side down part of the slide. So these both can work in conjunction. Soft jaws, why make soft jaws just for CNC lathes? No need to make soft jaws just for CNC lathes. Now you can do it for milling applications also. Suppose there are some profiled components, you can do it in two setups. First, you clamp your component in just 5 mill the profile, locate it in the female part of the soft jaw, and machine the entire component in just 2 setups. With every door opening, you get one finished job, one FG. So this is how you can utilize the soft jaws and the intermediate jaw. Now this is a very productive tool that you can have in your workshop. With the help of an intermediate jaw, what we can do is, what we do is we create a second setup or a second station for your clamping. So suppose you have a 208 clamping opening range of the vise, and your block is only 35 width. You're clamping in 35 Why waste the other all 150 clamping? Why waste the 150 odd plus clamping? Put an intermediate jaw, create a second station, put another job in that, and increase your productivity by 2 times. So that is how we give an accessories with the vices to increase its versatility, flexibility and productivity. Now coming on to some application photos, as you saw in the earlier slide, these are some application photos of the actual vise that you can see. Now in the left hand side, you can see these jaws have certain serrated grippers. I'll show you in some magnification. Just give me a second. These are gripper jaws. Those have biting teeth in it, and they hold your component in just 4 from the bottom. So it gives kind of a gripper clamping in the basic vise as well. Now comes to the prismatic jaw. As I told you in the earlier slide, you can hold your components horizontally as well as some for slotting operations. Now if you come down in the third photo, bottom left photo, you can see that a soft jaw and an intermediate jaw is used in conjunction together to increase the productivity of your machine. First, in the first setup, the component is held in 5 and a profile is cut. The same profile is guided in the soft jaws, and the second operation is being done, and a complete finished job comes out every door opening. So every door opening you have one finished component. So that is an increase in productivity that you have, definitely. And in the last photo that you can see on the bottom right, You can see two jobs are held in just 10 mm from the bottom with the help of an intermediate jaw. So this is how you can use these accessories to your own advantage in your workshop. These are some of an additional examples. Now this is a very interesting example right in front of you on the top left, where a fixturing has been created with the use of a vise. Earlier, this customer that we have used to clamp these components in a single collet chuck and used to machine a single component every door opening. What we did was we created we gave him an intermediate jaw, second station, and profiled some soft jaws for him. So from holding just one component per door opening, he now holds 10 components per door opening. So you can just imagine the increase in the productivity that he has with a simple vise and intermediate jaw and the use of a soft jaw. So this is how we can help your factory be more productive with the use of HAAS machines. In the second photo that is on the right hand side top, you can see that even if these vices are small, compact and sturdy, these are the three example adjectives I always use to describe this vice: small, compact and sturdy. But even though it is compact, it does not lose on its sturdiness. As you can see, the component is being held in just 35 to 40 mm, and the component overhang is more than 100 mm, and we are going to do this on a HAAS VF2. So you can just imagine the vertical overhang it has. Also in the next slides also, or you can see, I'll just explain to you, the vertical overhang can also be increased more than 200 mm and just supported with the help of screw jacks, simple mechanical screw jacks. And those screw jacks don't solve the purpose of clamping, they just are there for support. We can do that also. Suppose you have a HAAS VF6 or a HAAS VF8 machines where the bed is, the X direction is very long. And your components are very long. No need of using strap clamps. You can use these vices in parallel configuration in conjunction to hold components of long nature, as you can see in the bottom left photo. And this is again on a HAAS VF2 where 4 vices are clamped on a single bed and the machining has been done on 4 simultaneous components. So this can also be done. So a lot of permutation and combinations are possible. You just have to consult with us and we can give you the right solution, as I can say. Now what basic wise does is, basic wise is there for a purpose to serve as a basic work holding device for your HAAS VF2 with some increased flexibility. But in the case where some customers are die mold customers or some customers machine huge plates on their VF6 or VF8, what should they do? The normal conventional clamping method is that you take the plate, you clamp it directly on the bed, use strap clamps for that, clamp 8 or 10 clamps, put it on the top of the component and start machining. But what it does is, it creates hindrance for your tool paths. And secondly, when there is substantial volumetric removal of material, machining stresses get inside the job, and you are very well aware of that. And after the strap clamps are removed, a certain bending moment is created due to those residual machining stresses, and that we want to avoid. Suppose you have a component of 100 mm also, and you have a component of 400 mm length also. So how should we clamp it? For this, we have an excellent product in hand, that is what we call as combination vice 125 as well as 160. Now what it is basically a basic vice, but it is broken down into two parts. First is the fixed part and the second is the movable part, as you can see in the slide in front of you. The fixed parts are fixed to the tables and the moving blocks slide along the X or Y axis, whatever the orientation of the vices may be. Now what it does is, it gives you an advantage of clamping those big plates or big blocks or big jobs, not in the Z direction, but either in the X or the Y direction. What it does is, it gives you a lateral clamping, and lateral clamping is a very best example of clamping where you can machine the entire surface without any hindrance. Now you can see in the photo that there is no hindrance on the top surface, and the clamping is being done in either 10 mm or 20 mm according to the job height or the job weight. So you have the entire top surface free for machining. In a single setup, you can machine it. No need to unclamp those strap clamps, put it again, put it somewhere else, and then again machine it. Alternatively, you can use this in a plus configuration also, where you can put two fixed jaws, one in X direction, one in Y direction. So if you have batch production, you always get some zero offset. Always you get some repeatability in your batch production. That also can be done. So flexibility is as per your imagination. There is no restriction for a clamping range over here, as I can say. The number of vices you buy according to the HAAS VF6, VF4, VF8 is the clamping capacity is as good as the machining capacity of the machine. I can say it in one line straight. Now, if you have the X direction very long, but the width of the component is small, you can put these vices in this configuration also in the bottom left corner, where one is center is the fixed jaw, and on either sides there are movable jaws. And an additional advantage, people generally ask me that, sir, if today I have a big plate, tomorrow if I don't have a big plate, what should I do of this big vice? No need to worry. What you can do is you can take the fixed jaw off of this fixed body and put it in the movable jaw. There are tenons given over here. So what you get is two basic vices from us. So you can use them on either of your HAAS machines. So this is the flexibility that we can give to the customer with the respect of a combination vice. Yes. Moving forward, you can see that this is an excellent example of how to use a combination vice on a larger machine. Now, I have put this example for a specific purpose because as the video showed, we make standardized jig components for your HAAS VMCs also. So what we have done is, we are machining a HAAS VF2 base plate. A base plate for the HAAS VF2 machine where 900 into 450 by 50 mm thickness. Was that, as you can see in the photo over here, it is held in just 5 mm from the bottom. And the entire 4 sides side milling, T-slot milling and face milling is being done in just one single setup with just 5 mm clamping. Mind you, this plate is 900 by 450 by 50 mm thickness. And what we did is we clamped this plate in the combination vice, as you can see, and it is completely in the air. You can see. So in the second setup, what we did is we just flipped it 180 degrees, removed the stock material, and the HAAS VF plate was ready. So apart from the hardening time that it takes, we generally harden this to 32 HRC, or we generally toughen this to 32 HRC with a C45 material. So apart from the hardening time that it takes, the major time is the only hardening time. So we can deliver these standardized jig components within a week or a week and a half to you. Suppose your HAAS VMC is arriving 1 week after that or 2 weeks after that, and you say that I want a base plate for a HAAS VF2 or a VF3 or a VF4. It is very easy for us to give you these standardized components according to your HAAS machines in a very short amount of time. So this is the advantage that we get with AMT Allmatic as a partner for you sitting right here in Nasik, Maharashtra. These are some of the additional examples of the combination vice. Yes. So these two products complete the basic series. Why we call it as a basic series, you may ask, is because there is no power intensifier inside of it. It is a standard spindle, and we have to use either a socket wrench or a torque wrench to use for clamping. And it entirely depends upon the clamping power of the spindle to give the clamping torque of the spindle to give the clamping power. I'm sorry. But why go for the high pressure milling vices is what I'm going to tell you in the next slides of my presentation. We have two models of these high pressure vices. One is the LC125, which is in front of you, and the Titan SC125. Now these vices also are manufactured under license from Allmatic Jacobs Span System. So this gives you an advantage of the customer getting a German vice, but at an Indian price, I can say. So why the power intensifier, and what specifically is the power intensifier? I'll tell you in short, in a very brief way, that what it does is it converts the larger stroke and the low force into a small stroke and a big force. So that is the ratio of power is being transmitted from a low force to the high force with the usage of the stroke difference. That is how the power is transmitted through it. And this is purely mechanical in nature. I have to repeat it. All our vices are purely mechanical in nature, and that is the beauty of AMT Allmatic vices. Many people have the misconception that mechanical vice hai, so then we cannot get a clamping power. It is absolutely wrong. If it is mechanical vices, it is prone to less maintenance. It is prone to higher service lives. It is absolutely as simple as that. The service life is very large, and then the maintenance is very slow because there are no hydraulic components involved in it. There is no leakage involved in it. There are no pistons. There are no rubber sealings to get what you say worn off or leaked. There's nothing of that sort. So these vices are made for life. I can say all that is made for life. This is a small animation how the power intensifier works actually. The blue you can see, the dark blue you can see is the pin, and that is the torque end of the vice. And what it is doing is it is using its taper shape to roll away the balls because of the support plate. And what it is doing, you can see the displacement of the pin and you can see the displacement of the power plate. The ratio is small, but that is how the power is being transmitted into a much larger force. This is how we do it. And this is the heart of the LC125 and the Titan SC125. At the start of the presentation, I said that it is a fully encapsulated spindle. Now, what does that mean is the spindle is completely sealed. So it has a basic advantage that no oil, coolant, chips or burr can go into this spindle. So it is completely sealed. So if nothing is going into it and it is pre-lubricated, so the service life is endless. 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, nothing happens to these vices. Nothing, absolutely nothing happens. And an additional feature, these blue rings that you see in front of your screen are special scrapers that we have given just to make sure that nothing else enters. As it is sealed and nothing else enters, this is an additional level of safety that we have given to the power intensifier. So this heart of the vice is intact and does not, nothing happens to it basically. This is the standard construction of an LC125. Now I'll explain to you why it is called as an LC125 and the next one is called the Titan SC125 is because sometimes in your factory, you only deal with pre-machined components and the components may be of aluminum, Inconel, stainless steel or titanium. It can be varied. It can be varied. And every time what happens is the clamping force is dependent upon your operator and the time of the day and the shift of the day. Suppose your operator is in a very enthusiastic mode, he puts on high pressure on the vice and the clamping is up to its max. So that is how the reference is, the lifting reference is according to that. Suppose he's in a very down mood and he clamps it very slowly. So the reference is that. So what you do is you encapsulate the entire tolerance band of your component tolerance. You take up all the tolerance band. You want is a straight line. You don't want a sine wave. And that is why the clamping force can be preset into this vice. Now what it can do is it can do it in 4 steps. 1, 2, 3 and 4. That is 1 tons, 2 tons, 3 tons and 4 tons. So we are taking out the human interference out of the clamping force. Irrespective of the time of the day, the shift or the operator, whether it be new or old or what machine it is on, if I set this vice on torque setting number 2, the vice will always apply the 20 kilonewtons worth of clamping force. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. So the repeatability that you are getting in all your components from the 0th component up to the 100th component, you are getting the repeatability same. So you are not using up all your tolerance band and your sine wave is converted into in a flat line. So this is how you get repeatability out of your jobs every time, irrespective of the machine, man, or the tool. So this is how you get the repeatability of your components, and with a pre-selected torque. This is how the pressure intensifier works actually. I'll show you in a small video. So as you saw, the setting change, as you can say, we have to do from 2 setting to 4 setting. It is within seconds. It is not even taking minutes. It is within seconds. Now, if I have some aluminum component, I'll set it on 1. If I have some steel or stainless steel component, I'll set it on 3 or 4, maybe. If I have some hardened components. So this setting change is within seconds. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to rely on your operator to always to put uniform clamping force on your components. This is how we take off all the critical parameters that are affecting your repeatability and making it sure that you get the repeatability of all your components with these LC vices. And as I said, these vices, once you buy it, you don't have to look at it for the upcoming 7 to 8 years. Nothing happens to it. And that is an example. We have examples like that. The oldest vice in India is of 30 years. So almost 30 years since what you say, Allmatic manufactured it and sent it. It is almost 30 years old now. So nothing happens to the vices. We just change the spindle sometime or the else, or that is done. So that is why I call it is a long life product, a long lasting product that I can call it actually. And now comes the Titan SC125. Now I'll show you why the LC is an LC125 and the Titan SC is called as a gripper clamping vise. So you can see in this photo that there are grippers. These are the 4 grippers that are there with the vise. And what it does is, it allows you to clamp your unmachined components very effectively. You can see in the photo over here, a round unmachined component is being clamped. That is all. And a cylindrical component, a circular component on a standard rectangular vise. These grippers, what we call it, are screwable grippers, and the positions can be changed. So this is how we achieve it. And the main part that I'm trying to tell you is, you can absolutely get your unmachined parts directly from the store and put it on the vise. There is no need of pre-machining your components at all. Definitely not. So you are saving a complete setup of pre-machining. You are saving one conventional machine, conventional milling machine, or a grinding machine, or whatever you are using, or a CNC machine. You are completely saving that machine. And that is why you are saving money, you are saving time, and your throughput times are increased rapidly. Directly from the store, it comes on to your VMC. And from your VMC in 2 setups or 3 setups, whatever, we recommend only 2. In 2 or 3 setups, it goes into FG. So your throughput time is drastically increased. So this is how we improve your productivity or throughput time. And this vise, LC vise, can always be used for conventional clamping. Conventional clamping means pre-machined clamping. But the Titan SC125 can be used as a gripper clamping also. And this in technology, as I told you in the second slide of my presentation, was invented by Allmatic in 2005. And I don't have to tell you otherwise. Those who are the inventors know the technology best. That is a simple statement from my side. And the next part of this Titan. So Titan SC125 again is a standard model which comes with a conventional type of jaws with 4 grippers. But what if you have some irregularly shaped components? That is then when the universal gripper set comes into advantage. I'll show you in the next slides actually what the universal gripper set can do for you, and I'll make a statement now. In the next slides, you can see this. You can see for yourself. With the use of Titan SC125, you can make your own fixtures. No need to outsource your fixtures. You can make your own fixtures within seconds. This is a small video that I have to show you. This is a 4-minute video.
Allmatic Jacob offers you the possibility of positive locking clamping for irregularly shaped workpieces. Our Titan model enables both conventional frictional clamping and also grip or positive locking clamping. To prepare your clamping using CAD, please see the CAD data available on our website. Our optional support jaws provide the basis for positive locking clamping. The shape of the workpiece determines the positioning of each gripper mount on the support jaws. Any relief areas and height differences on the workpiece are offset by the flexible design of the universal gripper. The pivot function offsets any gradations in the clamping direction. The CAD prepared clamping can now be set up on the machine. The support jaws are mounted on the base. The universal grippers are screwed firmly onto the support jaws in the predetermined positions. The workpiece can now be positioned on the vise using the prepared supports. Now apply the correct clamping force using an adjustable torque wrench. The integrated mechanical power intensifier allows the gripper inserts to enter the workpiece easily and safely. The form closure enables absolute clamping safety. The workpiece is now safely clamped and can be machined. Visible impressions are proof of the tremendous holding force of the gripper inserts. The universal gripper set supports a wide range of clamping options. The universal gripper set comprises gripper inserts, mounting units, and a number of components for adjusting mount and gripper heights. Several workpiece criteria must be taken into account when determining the suitable clamping points. Workpieces should not be clamped in the vicinity of any mold joints. Should be a minimum of approximately 4 millimeters away from the edge of the workpiece or mold casting radii. To optimize load transmission, clamping points located opposite one another should be placed at the same height wherever possible. Similarly, any adjacent clamping points in one jaw should be placed at the same clamping height. Once you have found suitable clamping points, these should be marked on the workpiece. The fixing position on the universal grippers on the jaws can now be defined, and the gripper mounts secured in place. In order to position the workpiece horizontally, supports are used to adjust the height gradation of the workpiece. The case contains a number of adjusting screws and threaded pins designed especially for this purpose. The workpiece can now be placed on the supports, which facilitates determination of the gripping height. Use the spacer rings supplied in the case, or even the gripper insert itself, to set the correct height of the gripper insert. Once the workpiece is aligned with the machine axis, the clamping force can be engaged. You can now perform milling work without restrictions. Whatever your clamping requirements, we have the solution. We're waiting for your call.
And yes, as they say that the picture says 1,000 words, we are waiting for your call. for your clamping needs. Getting into the Titan SC125, as I don't have to explain anymore, that video was very self-explanatory, how you can make your own fixtures at home with the simple usage of a Titan SC125 with the use of this universal gripper set and pivot jaws. These are some of the examples that I can give you on an HMC machine where a Titan vices were used. And you can see that these vices are held in a parallel configuration where the clamping is being done in just 20 mm from the bottom, and there is a vertical overhang of almost 500 mm. But even that, the machine, the component has been machined. I'm sorry, the component is machined very healthily. And why I say healthily is because you can see these chips, the formation of this chip. And due to this formation of the chips, you can see that the cutting was uniform. There were no undue vibrations and undue constraints on the machine. So this is how we can give your HMC machines also a wide range. You can use it on an HMC, you can use it on a VMC. So the versatility of applications is very high. This is another project that we did, and why I have included this project is specifically because the length of this component is more than 500 mm, is approximately 600 mm. The length of the component is approximately 600 mm, and it was manufactured in just 2 setups. And the FG wasn't just 2 setups. First setup was in the grippers, and as I told you, we have given here normal screw jacks. This is not for clamping purposes. This is just for support purposes, that the material should not vibrate on the extreme ends while the face mill has been passed. Face milling has been done. So that is why we gave some special support, some normal mechanical supports on that. And in the second setup, we use our pull down set and completely machine the entire stock. So in just 2 setups, this entire component was milled 4 sides in the first set, drilled and tapped, and then put it the 180-degree flipped, and then the raw stock was taken, and the flatness that we got with due machining of this entire 600 component was less than 15 microns. So you can see how it aids your manufacturing process, how it eliminates the complete grinding setup. It eliminated a complete grinding setup. You can see how much money was saved for the customer over here. And the universality of the application. This is a very important slide that I can show the universality of the same vice. Now, all the vices in these 6 pictures, all the same. It is the same vice, but the components are different. One is a circular component, one is a casted component, one has a circular as well as a straight line. One has a taper of more than 30 degrees taper is there. One is again a cast component where there are no symmetry variations where I can clamp, and the last one has a datum variation where the datum is varied. Now, how I can clamp? I can clamp all these types of components in a single vice with universal gripper set and pivot jaws. So this is the universality of the application that I was talking about from the start. So you don't have to invest in 6 fixtures. You just have to invest in 1 vice and the pivot jaws. Now this comes to an, with this vice, it comes to an end that 3-axis vices or 3-axis milling vices comes to an end. Now for the 4th axis, 5-axis Trunion tables, we have a different range of vices, and this is one of the most cost-effective, small, sturdy vice that we have X-stock, X-shelf available at a Nasik plant right now. And this is called as a AllLite 68K and 68M. Why it call it as a 68K and M? Because of the clamping range, it differs. Now it can be fitted to a TRT 140, TRT 210, HRT, any of the types, so TRT, HRT or SRT 140, 210 or more than 210 also. Or also it can be mounted on a Trunion tables also. So this is a very small and compact vice, again with integrated grippers on his jaws. So you can grip your component or you can clamp your component in just 4 mm from the top, from the bottom of your actual jaw. And you can machine all 5 sides simultaneously without any interference, without any hindrance. And in the second setup, again, as I said, split it 180 degrees, flip it 180 degrees, cut off the raw stock, do some operations if are there, and it is gone into FG directly. These are the examples of the vices, the vice I was showing you, and it also, for smaller components than that, it also comes with a intermediate floating jaw. So as you can see in this photo, 4 components are being held and machined, and it is on a almost on a TRT or on a 4th axis. This is mounted on a 4th axis with a special tombstone that has been manufactured. It is on a 4th axis table. Again, some application examples where we can give a customized console to you. This console, what it does is, this console rises the height of the vice by 100 mm, and that is most important in your UMC machines, where you want the height increase of 100 mm from the bottom so as for the tool reach. And the bottom left photo is on a trunnion table, for 5th axis trunnion table. It can also be used on some CMM fixturings and also can be mounted on some tombstones. So versatility of this vice is varied, right from the normal VMC, 4th axis, 5 axis trunnion table, or also on an HMC, where smaller components are to be held and multiple setups are to be done. Now, I would like to show you one video that is the success video that we have gotten in a very recent time, within I think so a week or 2 before, where we have given this vice on a HAAS UMC 750 with a rotary dia of 500, and you can see in this short video where the customer is machining beryllium copper, and you can see for yourself. So in this example, you can see the vice is a very small, compact and sturdy thing. So it does not allow the vice does not interfere with the cutting tool or the tool holder. It is always inside of your entire component. It is almost inside of your component, and it has a very short, span on your machine. It is very lightweight. It is almost 6 kilos. Almost 6 kilos. So it will not give any more undue weight on your machine table, so that you can utilize your machine table, you can utilize your cutting tools, and you can utilize your CAM software to its ultimate capacity, because HAAS UMC is a very powerful machine with a very powerful torque, and you need a very capable work holding solution, or in this case an AllLite, AMT AllLite Centro-Gripp 68M, to hold your job, to sustain that kind of cutting forces that are coming due to this high speed, high feed machining. So this is a very perfect example where HAAS and AHIRE machine tools, that is AMT group, have come in unison to give a customer a complete solution with regards to the machine and with regards to the work holding. And this is being done through AHIRE machine tools, where we can support you through some customized processes, because giving of a console or things which can be done in-house don't have to be imported. We do it over here. We don't dilute the technology of we don't dilute the technology of Allmatic. None of the technology has been diluted. As I told you in my earlier slides, if you import these vices and if you get these vices from us, you will receive the same vice as you are getting it from Germany, but it is at an Indian price. I would reiterate that point. And these are specifically 5-axis milling vices, where power intensifiers comes into picture, where very sturdy components have been machined on higher speeds or fields, where the component is greater in size, in diameter, or it has some undue deflections with respect to socket or band socket or flame cut material. As you can see, if you want to hold some castings or some forgings, you can always use these types of vices. And you can see in the top right of the photo, the spindle the special sizes of the vice, it is so compact and so self-centric that it allows the spindle or the cutting tool to completely reach the center of your component and does not create an interference because of the body of the vice. So it is kind of a telescopic in nature. The spindle of these vices is kind of telescopic in nature. So that is why I'm saying it. These are some examples where this component was completely raw and completely square, and this was being machined. And again, the gripping is in just 5 mm from the bottom. You can imagine it is on the 5-axis machine with a 100 mm console, then a 123 mm vice, and then this component. So you can see how powerful the clamping of this vice is. Smaller components, or I would like to show you in magnification the die block that has been machined on our vice. So you can see how much volumetric material removal is there. And for this type of volumetric removal of material, high cutting forces are generated. And when high forces are generated, your work holding has to be capable to withstand those vibrations, those shocks, and those cutting forces. And AMT Allmatic vices, I can assure you and guarantee you, have that clamping force, have that 4 tons of clamping force. When it comes into your job does not go anywhere, and you can utilize the complete capacity of the machine. That is an important point that I have to mention it over here, is you have to utilize the entire capacity of the machine. Because of poor work holding, you often overlook the capacity utilization of your machine because your work holding is not that stable enough to withstand that cutting forces. With AMT Allmatic solutions, you can utilize the complete capacity of your machining. That is how you can increase your productivity and you can increase your profitability. And that is all that we are here for. We want to increase profitability of your company. I'll skip through some examples. Actually, these are some examples that I would like to show you again, which in gripping 5 mm and insert type of drill is being machined over here in a horizontal fashion. So the vice is again 123 mm and the job is 204 mm, and on an extreme end some milling is being done, insert type milling is being done, and you can see the power it holds, and you can see those indentation marks in this. So that indentation marks are a proof that the component is being held firmly in its place and it will go nowhere. This is one of a prestigious example for us. We like to give it to everyone that we say, because it is for an Indian ordnance factories. And we did, due to some NDA agreements, we cannot show you some of the intricate pictures, but all I can tell you about this component was, it is the main rifle body component, and it was previously done in 6 setups. You can imagine the pain of those operators when it has to be done in 6 setups. And again, it goes to CMM and then it gets rejected with a rejection rate of more than 40%. With 6 setups, it is all you can imagine, the rejection rate of being 40%. When we went over there and saw their pain area, we gave them a solution where they now machine these rifle bodies of our NSAS 5.56 45 caliber machine guns, the body of these machine guns, in just 2 setups. And the rejection rate has decreased drastically, Absolutely, there are no rejection rates when it comes to machining now, and it is being done in 2 setups. So the profitability has increased, the production has increased, and now the Indian Army is very happy with this, that they are manufacturing more and more rifles in a lesser amount of time. Some classic examples where irregular shaped jobs are held for a 5-axis machines, castings, forgings, or on a VTL also. You can see on the right hand side, top, you can hold 3 vices in a type of triangular fashion, and you can hold it on a VTLs also. Now comes the HMC part of our presentation, where we can make customized tombstones as they are in front of you. These are tombstones which are customized entirely according to our application, be it the y-axis differentiation, the geometry of the, be it a 3x 120-degree orientation, be it a 90-degree orientation, be it a back-to-back configuration, we can customize each and every tombstone right to its core to suit your application and to suit your machine. These are some different examples. Now, one impressive example that I would like to show you, these are manifold blocks. And you can see these are very heavy blocks weighing more than 150 to 100 kilos. In a back-to-back configuration, we have held it. Machining 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 sides in one setup, and the second setup 3 sides, and held in just 12 mm, 12 mm, 1, 2 mm, 12 mm from the bottom. So you can see what kind of overhang it is getting from the weight of the component, but still giving the weight of the component, the machining can be done in a transverse direction as to the cutting, as the holding direction. Transverse direction cutting can be done with the respect of the holding direction with nothing to lose. These are different types of examples again, where customized jaws are manufactured also for your application according to your applications. This is one of the example where we manufactured a tombstone. As I said, a complete customization. This was the biggest tombstone that we manufactured. It was, the base was 800 by 800, the square was 550 by 550, and the total height was 800 mm with a working height of 745 mm. And it weighed around 721 kilos, the finished weight that I'm seeing. So you can imagine that what type of machining is being required over here. It was specifically for another type of machine with a 5-ton weight carrying capacity, but we can do these types of components also, or these types of standardized components also for you, for your HMC machining needs. This is one of the example where we supplied it to an aerospace customer in Belgium, and we supplied 18 tombstones, 10 of triangular and 8 of rectangular. So you can imagine the sheer capacity of our production, where we can take such big orders from our end customers and deliver the time in according to the time frame that they need. Base plates also can be manufactured. These are standardized base plates, again standardized as well as customized. The biggest that we manufactured was almost 1312 by 510. This was for a HAAS VF4 actually. And the sub table also we can manufacture up to 1000 mm in X and Y 500 mm. Up to the height can be 200, 250 or 300 mm as well. Circular types of base plates for mill-turn machines also can be done from us. These are completely customized. So 8 number of T-slots were made in a radial fashion, where the T-slot was maintained, all the T-slots were maintained 14H7. In the machining setup only, there was no grinding setup in this for the T-slots. 14H7 tolerances were maintained in the T-slots with the help of special machinings. Again, some riser blocks that we manufactured custom according to the application, according to the drawing. You just have to give us the concept and we can design it, we can get it approved from you, and we can manufacture it. Again, an auxiliary table, 1.5 meters by 650 mm. It's the maximum capacity that we can give you. And coming to the part where I can give you vices, I can give you vices for VMCs, HMCs or 5-axis machinings. There has to be a certain transition when it comes to fixturings. Why we need fixturings? Because sometimes vices do not cut up to the job or are not up to the job where you want regular production in some automobile components or some mass production components. You require hydraulic fixtures. So that is a capacity that we have developed in-house. We have our in-house designers, design team. They can get, what we need is from you is just we need a component drawing from your side and a basic explanation of what type of machining you are trying to do or you want to do. We can develop an entire concept, get that concept approved from you, and then get into manufacturing and completely deliver the manufacturing from to your end. Also, we can do some provings at our end also, because we have a whole set of HAAS machines in our factory also. Component provings can also be done on some sampling basis also. So this is the type of customer service that we provide, right from the designing stage up to the manufacturing to the dispatch and as well as the proving out of the components. So this is the service that we can provide. And when fixtures are considered, you want a one-stop shop. You don't want to deal with 3 different vendors every time, because they always try to blame each other that iska nahi hua hai, isliye ye nahi hua, and that is why that creates an hindrance for us. That is why we can give you a one-stop shop solution for all your machining needs. These are the typical types of fixtures that we can give. These are the typical types of fixtures that also hydraulic as well as mechanical. And with this, I think so. Thank you very much for your attention. I end my presentation. I would like to say a few lines before me ending the presentation is that looking at all of this, AMT can be your ideal partner of choice for us to provide you with a one-stop experience for all your work holding needs. I always say that the key is expert advice early. The key is expert advice early. And our motto always is time saved is money earned. So we are here for saving your time and putting money back into your pockets. So with this, I end my presentation. Thank you very much, all of you, for all your attention. I wish you a lot of success. And once again, thank you, Nikhil ji, for giving us this platform, sharing this platform with us, with Ahire Machine Tools, to present our product portfolio to your customers and to the people which are online also. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepak ji. That was a fantastic presentation from AMT presented by you. I am sure the customers would have loved it. In the meantime, I would also request all the customers who have attended to feel free to ask any questions. If you want to ask them verbally, please raise your hand. We will allow you to talk and you can have a word with Mr. Deepak or Mr. Nikhil or Mr. Samir present on the call.
Yes.
And if you're comfortable, otherwise you can also put in your comments inside the chat box or on the Q&A box. We have already answered questions to Mr. Prashant and Mr. Rohit.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
To all the panelists, I would like to mention one thing that work holding is a very topic that requires some, what you say, give and take. So my colleague, Mr. Nikhil Keluskar, has put his contact details up in the chat box. Also, Samir, I'm sure that Nikhil sir will put Samir sir's contact details also in the chat box. So you can just take it from there. In the meantime, after that, if you want to put us Ahire Machine Tools or HAAS, any questions from your side, so you are free to put up in your emails also and WhatsApp also. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'll conclude the webinar.
Yes.
Firstly, by thanking the AMT for the association. They have not been great customers only, but great partners also throughout the years. And also all the attendees who are present on this call for your time. So thanks a lot to everyone. I hope this webinar added value to your manufacturing processes. And in the future, if there is any requirement for a Vice or the machine or any solution that you need apart from like purchase, still we are there to help you out on that. So please feel free, and our experts are always there at your disposal. So thanks a lot. Thank you everyone for the time and your investments on this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. Stay safe, stay protected. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to conclude, Mr. Sumit,
Yes.
a message and we will share the recording with you, surely.
Yes, yes. Sumit sir, please put your contact details in the web box, and we will text you all the details as well as email you the presentation links.
Yeah. Thank you everyone once again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.